911 emergency
Can you get
588.
someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please.
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record. Could you just send somebody over here?
Okay, what is he doing there?
He just drove up again.
He just drove up.
Over.
Okay, wait a minute. What kind of car is he in?
He's in a white Bronco, but first of all, he broke the back door down to get in.
Okay, wait a minute. What's your name?
Nicole Simpson.
Okay, is he the sportscaster or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay,
and Thank you.
Wait a minute. We're sending the police. What is he doing? Is he threatening you?
I'm going nuts.
Okay, has he threatened you in any way, or is he just harassing you?
You're going to hear him in a minute. He's about to come in again.
Okay, just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the shit.
Wait a minute. Wait, just stay on the line so we can know what's going on until the police get there, okay? Okay, Nicole?
Uh-huh.
What is up, everybody? Hollywood at Night members. It's your boy, Hollywood AJ. Your host, my co-host, the one, the only, Mrs. Allie. What's up, girlfriend?
What's going on? You got your blanket. I love it.
I do. We are in for a cozy one. We are in for a long one, as y'all are about to see. What you been up to, though?
Oh my God. I don't know what is going on with January. It should not exist. It should be taken off the calendar. We're recording what, February 2nd, I think is today.
February 2nd.
Oh my God. I'm so happy January is over. February 1st is finally over. Thank God.
Yes.
It's the second.
For those who don't know, me and Allie have had a rough start to February, but it's all good. We're powering through it like we know how.
We'll make a video. We'll see.
Yeah. We
can talk about some stuff.
Yeah. Maybe for next week's episode we could
just dig into all the craziness of life, I guess.
I'm with it. But
yeah.
Without further ado, in honor of the Super Bowl this Sunday, we decided to delve into the same aspect that we did with the Sharon Moore video in football and crime. Only today, it is probably the most infamous, the most notorious story as far as sports and true crime meshing together. And that is one Orenthal James Simpson, a.k.a. O.J. Simpson, a.k.a. The Juice. I got his shirt. For those listening, for those watching, they can see I have my shirt, my O.J. Simpson shirt.
I bet you get the looks with that shirt. You're just like,
oh, I do.
That's why you take a double take.
The Karens at Target definitely don't know how to act when they see it. That's for sure.
Wait, don't you have a sweatshirt too?
No, just
a shirt? Okay.
Just a shirt.
I thought it was a sweatshirt too.
Nah. I want to get a sweatshirt though. But
that's what I'm getting. I'm getting an OJ shirt. People are gonna hate me, and I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to this video and be like, people are gonna think we're idolizing him. But before we get into the story, who do you got in the Super Bowl this Sunday, Mrs. Allen?
Ooh, can I say that I literally don't care? I hope they just kill each other.
You can.
I wanted it to be Broncos and I wanted it to be Broncos and Seahawks because I hate the Rams, but I love Matthew Stafford. So I was like, okay, I gotta say Broncos Rams, and then neither one of them made it to the Super Bowl.
Well, we all know why the Broncos didn't make it, because Bo Nix was hurt.
No, kick the fucking field goal. Like
Facts.
The anger.
Sean Payton, as a diehard of a Bronco fan I am, he needs to be fired. He just does.
That call. Okay, I know that's not what this video is about, but okay, here's the thing. We could have lost in overtime. If they kicked the field goal. Could have been, what, 10-10 at that point?
Yes.
Lost in overtime.
Yeah. If we would have just took the points right off the bat, who's to say? And I don't think Stidham fumbled that ball. I really don't.
Ooh, controversial.
I don't.
Yeah.
If they called Brady's tuck rule an incomplete pass, that was an incomplete pass as well. So
no, but if you think about it, if they kicked the field goal and didn't try to be all fancy, we actually would have been up 2 plays.
Oh yeah, we would have been up 10-0, and I don't think the Patriots would have scored. So we probably would have won the game 10-0, which is fine.
And then it started snowing, so we would have been up 10, maybe 3, 10-7, and then that would have been a game.
I'd say 10-3. At
Ah,
worst, we could have won that game 10-3.
I cannot
10-3.
believe it. I was so mad. I think I
I
told
was
you.
mad
I was
too. Yeah,
so
no.
pissed.
We texted each other throughout the entirety of the Broncos 2
God.
playoff games, and it was just madness.
Ugh.
For me, though, I hated the Seahawks for the longest time
Yeah.
after they dog walked the Broncos in the Super Bowl
That was
in
so sad.
2014. Hated the Seahawks for the longest time. But then we're in a new decade, we're in a new era. People are all over Drake May's white nuts like koalas when I don't think he's that special. They act like he's the next coming of Tom
I,
Brady.
yeah.
And I'm just like, he's had a cupcake ass schedule the entire year. His playoff run was against Justin Herbert, who's overrated as hell. CJ Stroud, who forgets who he plays for,
Yeah.
and a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping on the Seahawks bandwagon, and I'm hoping the Seahawks freaking dog walk them,
Yeah.
freaking 52-10.
Yeah.
Like
We hate the
that
Patriots.
bad. Hate the
Hate them.
Patriots. Hate them. But also, to your point, I this is probably the first Super Bowl in my life that I'm not excited for.
I'm
I
not
am not.
either.
And as much as I hate the Chiefs, I was more nervous for those.
Yeah.
And I was rooting so hard for like the 49ers, for the Buccaneers, for the
Hmm.
Eagles, rooting so hard for those teams that I was going to watch regardless.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, I can't get up for it. I just can't.
This football season has been so like treacherous because I'm a Notre Dame fan, I'm a Georgia fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I both of our teams just Georgia lost, Notre Dame needs to get in a freaking conference. By the time that the college football championship finally came, I forgot that it was the championship. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Indiana won. So who are they playing in
Yeah.
the championship? And my husband was like, that was the championship. I was like, I
Yeah.
just don't care. I don't care at
Yeah.
all. So will I
Yeah.
watch
No,
it? Of course I'll watch it. I love watching football. Do
me
I care
too.
who wins? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird time for sure. And I feel like as Broncos fans, that game against the Bills was our Super Bowl. When
I
you
think
look at
so.
it, when
Yeah.
you look at it in retrospect, and knowing that Bo's going to be out for the championship game,
Yeah.
the Bills game was our Super Bowl, and we beat Superman. So
Yeah.
that puts Bo in an elite conversation, if you ask me.
I
So,
will say this about being a Broncos fan this year. It was a very exciting football year. I actually didn't even expect us to get as far as we did. So I
oh no,
enjoyed every minute of watching Bo. Big Bo fan. Absolutely love him. I hope he stays with the Broncos forever. But I will say that some people on our coaching staff need to be
yeah,
questioned a little bit.
Sean,
So
Sean Payton.
I won't say who.
That fourth down play, buddy,
Come on,
buddy.
man. And it makes you like hate everything because we're sitting here like we're not getting paid millions of dollars to make these play calls. Why are we making the right play calls and you're not? Like,
Brand, yeah, no, that makes zero
oh,
sense. But I think Sean just drank too much of the Kool Aid, thinking that Jarrett Stidham was as good as Bo Nix because
hmm
Bo Nix would have completed that fourth down. Bo Nix would have won us that game. Even non-Bronco fans, even some Patriots fans were
yeah,
saying, "Yeah, if Bo would have played, we would have lost."
yeah.
And that's just the God honest truth. So if Sean would have just coached the game a lot better, we could have won. And we
hmm
scored the first touchdown of the game. So
And then, I mean, if you think about it too, though, like let's say that we did win that game going into the Super Bowl with our backup, who I was actually very impressed with. Playing. It's just like would we be winning the Super Bowl right now? Like,
I,
you know,
I, I
so
don't think so.
yeah, so maybe
I
it's good that we're not to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
I think we would have gotten dog walked by the
Yeah.
Seahawks again.
Yeah, and that what was the ending score in
Again.
2014? It was like something to three, right?
43-8. 43-8.
And we're still Broncos fans. It's okay.
We are. We are. Because we won the Super Bowl 2 years later. It's all
Oh
good.
yeah.
It's all good.
Oh yeah.
So, but with that being said, we're talking about, you know, a man that never won the Super Bowl, but was probably the literal definition of an icon back then.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this guy's accolades were insane. I mean, just for those who don't know, this man rushed for 11,000 yards.
Good God.
At the time was unprecedented.
Yeah.
You could not catch this man. You could not. 11,000 yards. He also had 2,400 runs when you think about it. 2,404 runs. He had, to be precise, 11,236, 61 touchdowns, and won the NFL MVP in 1973. So
Mm-hmm.
this man wasn't just some scrub. He was probably the most iconic football player in the 70s at that time when the NFL was still rather growing, when it was just two teams in the 70s, the Steelers and the Cowboys. And this man was a one man show on the Buffalo Bills team that didn't even reach the Super Bowl, but still drew eyeballs in the sense of how good he was, how he could capture an audience, how he could run the ball. And not only that, it was at a time where not many other black running backs were doing that. Not to make it a
Yeah.
race thing, that's just the fact of the matter. So that leads into, how did you first hear about OJ, Mrs. Alley?
So I'm gonna age myself here. So I was, let's see, when all this went down, I was 5 years old. So there's just no way in hell that I would have ever known what was going on in this case. Um, but I remember, I kind of remember the time because it was a very racially divided time in our country, especially in California. You were hearing about race riots, you were hearing about Rodney King. And I was too young to kind of even understand and appreciate that. But when I started really getting into football, I think I was around the age of like 10 or 11 is when I really started getting into it. And I've always been interested in true crimes since a very, very young age. So anything that was kind of happening in true crime, even at that age, I was kind of paying attention to.
Yeah.
I didn't actually really know OJ as a football player, though. I know that
Mm-hmm.
my dad would talk about him, my uncle would talk about him, but I only knew OJ as this, as what happened. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty young when this happened, but I was born in 1989, so it was pretty new. Definitely not something a kid should be, understanding. But
Yeah.
again, you hear OJ Simpson, even at my age, I didn't know him as a football player. So when we were doing the research for this case, I didn't really know everything that all the accolades that he had. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this aside, this man had an extreme talent. Like,
For
I
sure.
mean, this is not something that you can even hold. Doesn't he hold like a record in something that nobody's beat yet?
It's the 2,000 rushing yards in a
Yeah.
season.
So it's just like, so
There,
somebody
there's
from,
there's been running backs that have gotten close, but
yeah,
nobody has broken it yet. In
yeah,
1973, the year he won the MVP, he rushed for 2,003 yards, and
yeah.
he had 3 seasons of 1,000 yards rushing in 1976, 1972, and 1975,
Hmm.
and he averaged 7 yards a carry, which for
Yeah.
those who don't know is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a
For
lot.
non football fans, what that means is that because usually a running back, you usually have maybe what in every single drive, if they're not throwing in every single run play, you're talking about each time that he was handed the ball, almost first down
Yes.
every single time. It's insane.
You need 10 yards for a first down, and he would get 7 of those 10 yards off of
Which,
running. Four rushing titles, 5 All-Pro selections, selected for All-Pro 5 times, played 11 seasons. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, 2,142 receiving yards as a receiver. So
hmm
not even as a running back, as a receiver, he has 2,000 yards. His run after catch was insane. You couldn't catch that man in his prime. 7,699 rushing yards during that span was the number one in the NFL by some distance, with no other player coming within 2,500 yards. Many fans remember Simpson's sensational 1973 MVP season when he became the first back in NFL history to rush for more than 2,000 yards with 419 rushing yards in his final 2 games of the year. Simpson broke Jim Brown's single-season rushing record with Jim Brown had 1,863 in 1963 and ended with, as I mentioned earlier, 2,003 yards.
And
And
what's
he's a Hall of
crazy,
Famer, might I add
yeah.
that.
Well, what's crazy about his college football days is that the year that he won the Heisman, the year prior, he was runner up to winning the Heisman. So it
Yeah,
wasn't just one season that you normally get as a football player of he had 2 seasons where he could have been Heisman pick. Like that's it's just crazy. And he was also built the way that he was built, like again, for non-football fans out there. He was built like a tight end as a
he
running
was.
back. That guy was
He he
unstoppable.
was
Like
a
just
big boy. He was a
big.
big running back.
Imagine
Like
trying to tackle that. Like
I heard someone say he could run sideways faster than most men can run forward.
that's so crazy.
That says all you need to know at just how fucking quick that man was.
Yeah.
And just how because I watched the highlights in preparation for this video. Every time he ran like he was running from literally a demon chasing him.
Yeah.
And he outran it.
Yeah.
It was bananas. So at the time, you could probably say the 2 most famous people on the planet was him and Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
OJ and Muhammad Ali were like freaking Jordan and Tyson
Yeah.
at that time. They
And
were,
if you want to talk about even what was happening during that time, I mean, you're talking about the 70s and 80s to where, it was high stress when it came to racial relations. And these 2 men of their caliber, like people, you're talking about people, Caucasian people watching the NFL and watching boxing, people that are just don't care about race at all. Like you're breaking barriers. And you
you
have
are.
to, and we don't understand what these people were going through during that time. So to be at that caliber and not care about what people are saying or thinking about you, and even having people who admire you, that was a big thing back then.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Because OJ was in all these commercials. He was
Hmm.
in movies. He was in literally in the off season. He was in films. He wanted to be an
Yeah.
actor. He even said, "If I was to fail as a football player, I wanted to be an actor." And
He was actually
albeit
good too. Like he was
for
doing
the
okay.
movies, yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
I I first heard about OJ, and the reason why I have the shirt was because I truly admire his talent on the football field.
Hmm.
And as you guys stick around, you'll hear my opinion on everything that happened. The way that he played is what made me a fan of him. The
Hmm.
way that he the way that he was an icon is what made me gravitate toward him,
Hmm.
because the level of fame that he had is similar to the fame that I want to have, that many other people want to have. So
Hmm.
I respect how he handled all that in that regard, probably during the most racially tone charged time of our time, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And I mean, he was even part of, communities who were made up by mostly Caucasian men. I mean, he was being invited to, I don't know, country clubs, and he was the spokesperson for, I think it was Hertz Company, and he was
Yeah,
like
hurts.
he was breaking barriers. This is kind of what I don't think people can really comprehend, like that something was special about him during this time.
So for those who don't know, there's a documentary out there called OJ Made in America. It's on ESPN. It's a 30 for 30. I believe it's on Netflix. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out. But that documentary touches on OJ's life from day one, his football career. The very first episode talks strictly only his football career, and the end talks about how he met Nicole. So what people were saying is, what his white colleagues, his white friends were saying is that none of us looked at him as a black man. He
Hmm.
was so charismatic, so charming. He can make you believe that he was just a normal person. He really fit in with the type of crowd that you needed to fit in to set yourself up for generational wealth, to set yourself up for movies, to set yourself up for business, for football, because he was a commentator when he retired. He was the definition of networking. But at the
Hmm.
same time, it was controversial because the black people in the world were like, well, that's not fair. How
Hmm.
is he saying, I'm not black, I'm OJ? And then you have the other famous person at the time, Muhammad Ali, saying, I'm not going to go fight no Viet Cong because no Viet Cong called me the N word,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it was kind of two polar opposites. And probably the first true blemish on OJ's career at that time was the fact that he kind of distanced himself away from those racial problems that arise during that time.
Yeah, and I can only imagine, people close to him, maybe even like people that he played with, friends that he knew were like, "Hey, why aren't you being vocal about this?" I mean, you even see it in today's world, like, "Hey, this is the color of your skin. You need to talk about this. Hey, this is your political preference. You need to talk about this." And it's like not everything has to include your color and everything has to
No.
include your political stance, And if you want to do that, great. But if you don't want to, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to come out
No.
and talk about that,
And I think that was his point, but he just didn't really know how to say it.
Hmm.
And it goes to the old adage. He's like, I don't want to be judged by the color of my own skin. I want to be judged by the content of my character and what I could do on the football field. And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So we are going to do something we haven't done in a minute. We are going to go into the notes. Oops. Let me see.
And guys, when we say that there's notes on this, oh my gosh,
Ah, we got
wild,
libraries. We got
wild research.
libraries. It is madness. It is truly something crazy.
Hmm.
I'll let you take it away, Mrs. Alley.
All right. Now, what I really wanted to focus on, I do want to talk about kind of, all the players at hand. I want to go over what the story truly was about. And I think one of the people who, unfortunately lost his life on June 12th, 1994, I want to talk about him too. His name is Ron Goldman because he does not get talked about a lot. He was a person who lost his life and probably, had no reason to be where he was, and we'll talk about why he was there. But we went over OJ, so I'm gonna kind of skip past that. We know OJ, we know what he did, we know
The
all of his
influence,
accomplishments, the
the
influence he had.
influence.
I
He
mean,
think of him as like he was as famous as a Michael Jordan. He was as
hmm
famous as a Conor McGregor, as famous as a LeBron, as famous as a Brady, if not more.
hmm
And that's what makes it so compelling and so crazy that someone of that caliber is involved in something this crazy.
Exactly. Now, legally, the way that he stands before the law, and I know he's not with us anymore, but he was never, he was never convicted of murder. So we can have our opinions and we can talk about this, until we die on the inside, because I think we all pretty much know and we know what happened. And him not being convicted legally, he was not guilty in the eyes of the law. So, and
No,
that's
no.
the way our judicial system works. And we have to remember that we would rather have somebody guilty walking free than somebody who is not guilty behind bars. So, and that's just the way our
Well,
judicial system.
and not to jump too far ahead, but these days I feel in anything, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Hmm.
And I feel like OJ's story, the case, was a perfect example of all right, OJ is guilty. He needs to prove why he's innocent now.
Right, right, exactly. And a lot of people even said, like, well, I don't care if he's guilty. I don't care if he
Yeah.
did what you're saying
But
that he did.
we don't want to get too far ahead. We don't want to get too
I
far
know.
ahead.
So many opinions. Okay.
So many.
I want to talk about Nicole Brown Simpson. So before OJ met Nicole, Her name was actually Nicole Brown. She was born May 19th, 1959, which is crazy to think if she was still alive to this day. I mean, she would be a grandma right now. And
Whew.
so she was frozen in time a little bit. I mean,
She was.
you only see photos of her up until she passed away, and it's kind of hard to think like she had children. She could be a grandparent right now.
Yeah. No,
It's
she really could be.
really, really sad to think about. But she was born in on May 19th, 1959. This was in Frankfurt, West Germany. So she's actually German. So she was German American.
Wow.
She did meet OJ in 1977. This is maybe a little bit controversial too. OJ was 30, she was 18. Um, Everything legal there. It's a big age gap, but everything legal
It's
there.
the truth. It's
Yeah.
the truth. It's the
Yeah.
truth. It's not speculation. These are facts. Go
These are
look them
facts.
up.
So, I mean, OJ was 30, so I'm 36. I still consider 30 to be young.
It
Um,
is. And
so
also the age, I know different states and different countries have age of consent to like 17, 18, 16, but the general consensus, the general belief, the age of consent is 18. So
mhm.
that to me that's not as frowned upon because she is an 18-year-old, was an 18-year-old woman, girl.
Yeah. So I mean, barely legal, but legal. I mean,
Yeah.
so everything between them was legal. Now she was waitressing at a club in Beverly Hills, California. I didn't find a lot of information on her, and I think that was because before she met OJ, because she was 18. So
Yeah.
probably still living with parents during this time. I know that she had a little bit of a modeling career. But I mean,
Probably graduating from high school.
dear God, now that makes it sound
But
nice.
okay, think about this. Think about this. And we still have this, I want to say an issue, but these type of situations today.
Hmm.
You're 18 years old.
Yeah.
The most famous football player is asking you out on dates and you're sleeping with him.
That's a big hell yeah.
What just goes through your mind at that point, honestly? Like,
I mean, I can even say it like from a woman's perspective. I told you a little story about running into Demarius Thomas, rest in
yeah,
peace,
yeah.
Demarius. And he picked me out of a crowd. Well, had his friend pick me out of a crowd. It's nice. It's nice to be singled out. I think with somebody on that caliber, it's just it's kind of like a big, F you middle finger to everybody else.
Oh,
Like,
for
oh, there's
sure,
something
for
special
sure.
about me. If I was her at 18 and OJ was interested in me, oh my God. Yeah. And
Yeah,
everything was legal
insane.
in a second. Yeah.
Yeah,
So but no judgments there. I don't have any judgments with her. Now
yeah, me neither.
it's a little bit boring of a story though. It's a very typical story, of a high caliber man and we whisking away this beautiful 18-year-old waitress. So maybe, but
Yeah, but it got interesting throughout the years that they were together. It
oh my
did.
gosh. They had I think researching this, it was a very tumultuous relationship. My goodness. Like, and well, here's the thing though. So they began dating, and you're talking about dating. This guy is courting her, if you want to talk about it in old terms. Courting her. He was married. He was still married to his first wife. I think her name was
Marguerite Whitley,
Marguerite Whitley.
who was then pregnant with their daughter Erin Simpson,
Yep.
and Whitley divorced. They got divorced in March 1979, 8 years. But I read OJ's book,
Mm-hmm.
and during that time in which he did meet Nicole, literally that day, he went to go stay in a cabin that he owned in Northern California. But before he left to that cabin, that was when he met Nicole that day. So
Mm-hmm.
literally, as his marriage was ending, and he went to go to that cabin to think about his marriage with Marguerite, what they need to fix, if there is fixing, what they basically just get away and really
Mm-hmm.
think about a lot of things. But in reality, he kept thinking about that young, beautiful waitress in Beverly
Yeah.
Hills, California.
Which I'm sorry, Nicole was freaking knockout, man. So I get
Oh,
it.
she was. May she rest in peace, but she was drop dead gorgeous.
I mean, just stunning. Now I know that they did get divorced. Now, even during the divorce, though, OJ and Nicole were dating. So they were dating exclusively while he was going through this divorce. But then I know that they dated. So here's where I'm confused about the timeline
Okay.
because they got married February 2nd, 1985.
Yeah.
Um, were they together like exclusively that whole time after? So
Yeah.
what, almost 5.5 years probably?
Yeah, I would say 6.
Okay.
6 years. They were dating for sure.
Now
Eh,
I did read that Nicole, I mean, she was a little obsessive with OJ too during this time. She would call at all hours of the night trying to get in touch with OJ. His wife would answer. She would drive past their house, so maybe a
Oh
little bit of
man.
like light stalking going on.
Oh
So
man. Now that I did not know.
I read that. Yeah. And
That
so
I did
again,
not know.
I don't know how true it is, but I did read a little bit that
See,
was talked about. So
okay. Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, if you can kind of just picture this relationship, young, beautiful girl, you're in the middle of a really bad, probably ugly, marriage, separation, divorce. You meet this girl, she's beautiful, fresh, um, and she's also that into you where
Oh
she's,
yeah. But she's also still it plays into the youngness, and she probably knows in the back of her mind OJ can have any girl that he wants, and
yeah,
that was proven to be a fact even when they were married.
yeah.
So, you know, you don't want to lose that. I don't care what you say, you just don't want to lose that.
Yeah. You don't want to lose it.
So,
I think you're trying to hold on to it as much as possible. And here's the thing about a woman and girls, you can attest. We, when we see and we have our sights set on somebody, we plan the whole thing in our mind. We want to know what it looks like. Can I
mhm.
marry this guy? Like he's handsome, he's rich, he's famous. I mean, that's just like the trifecta right there. I
Oh,
mean,
that's the whole package.
you're
That
not letting that
is
go. So
no.
yeah, I'd probably be stalking too, just saying. So now would I get involved as somebody who is still married? No, but just
The caveat is he's rich and famous, so you could overlook those red flags.
that's something that people just like kind of turn, oh, that's yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
like
That's fair.
who cares? You know.
Now,
But
what people don't understand though about,
not to cut you off, Valley.
go ahead.
One thing I do want to say though, in OJ's book, if I did it, and even in the documentary, OJ spent most of the story talking about their relationship, and OJ wasn't interviewed for the documentary. He was still in prison at that time for a different reason.
Hmm.
But he explained in the book just how in love they were, how they did everything together, how OJ introduced her to his kids rather quickly. So their love was definitely strong. Their love was definitely something out of a Hollywood movie.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to throw that in there just to provide more of the magnitude as to what happened when it all came to a head.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because here's what happens in those types of relationships. So people love those storybook relationships where it's passionate, it's romantic, it's he swept me off my feet type of thing. Their whole relationship, and this is just from even from police reports, he was stated to be emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive
Yeah,
to
yeah.
her.
There were some instances in the documentary and in the book that OJ did talk about that were talked about, you know, that were that really told you, okay, their highest the highs were high and their lowest the lows were definitely low to the point where the police were called to
Hmm.
OJ's house many times. And I think the very first instance was in 1985 that took
Yeah,
place.
and
I
I
believe
I think it was right after they got married, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think a couple months after they got married.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, you have to make sure that if you're going to be in these types of relationships, I mean, it kind of sounds like, and I'm not making any excuse for OJ at all. I don't think that it was just on his side though. I think there was a
No,
lot of passion and maybe not good passion that was happening.
I think they both did a lot of things in the dark that I think Nicole knew a lot more about the other women that OJ was sleeping with
Hmm.
because he's OJ, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a lot harder for OJ to find out who else Nicole was sleeping with because Nicole was a very low key person, you
Yeah.
know? So the fight in 1985, I think it was just an argument where the cops got called and argued crazily enough, Mark Furman was called on that call in 1985 to
Hmm.
OJ's house.
Hmm.
And they got a call. Basically, this was on the documentary. You can go watch this. It's straight out of Mark Furman's mouth. And he asked OJ what's going on. And OJ was in a state of rage.
Hmm.
And he had a baseball bat. And he said he was bouncing it off the tire. And there was an argument. OJ was saying, "Well, if I pay for everything around here, I guess I'll pay for this too." He smashed the windshield,
Oh
and
my gosh.
that's part of the reason why the cops were called. So, um, OJ was in a fit of rage, and the cop was like, "Put the bat down." Wouldn't do it. Put the bat down again. The cop asked him. He wouldn't do it. Then finally, Furman got his baton, and then OJ was like, "Well, sorry, officer. I apologize." And then they went and checked on Nicole. Nicole said, "I don't want to press charges against him."
Hmm.
Cops were like, "Are you sure?" Because Nicole was in a pretty bad state of, distress, obviously from an argument. And Furman said, "It's your life. If you don't want to press charges, it's your life." So
Hmm.
already the red flags were coming on
Yeah.
during that time, and that's only 8 years into their relationship.
Yeah. And to make a point to that, I've never been in a type of relationship where I feel like I have to make a choice between turning somebody that I love the most in and pressing charges or not. So I don't
Yeah.
know what that would be like emotionally or mentally. I I don't blame them because I've never been in that situation. I don't know how I would react in that situation.
So not to divulge too much, but I've been in relationships like that where cops have been called, and I've never been arrested, I've never been convicted of anything, but cops were called during
Hmm.
arguments. So what I can say is they can be called when the situation you're in is like going nowhere,
Hmm.
and it's almost like a safety net as to, okay, we don't want anything bad to happen, so we're just gonna get them out here just to be sure that nothing bad will truly happen.
Hmm.
At least that was my experience. Obviously, there's stories of Nicole being physical. There's stories of OJ being physical. So their relationship really was a lot of hearsay in
Yeah.
the sense of the early part. Now in 1989, that's when shit really hit the fan because they hosted a New Year's party, and basically Nicole and OJ got into a big fight because Nicole asked about another girl. OJ didn't like that. So OJ locked himself in a room. His account of the story was she went and got a spare key, opened the door, and started wailing on him.
Hmm.
Nicole's account was that she thought OJ was cheating on her, so she confronted him, and it all went to shit.
Hmm.
Cops were called that night, but then a couple days later, Nicole said to a couple of OJ's police friends, because it is known OJ had some police officers that would go and hang out at his house occasionally, just randomly out of nowhere. Nicole told the cops it didn't happen like that. OJ was not physical. I was a physical one. That was confirmed not only by OJ, but by like 3 or 4 other people.
Hmm.
So I guess my point is it coincides with your point that both of them did their due diligence for this.
Yeah. I mean, and to where the story is going to go is, a lot of people know what happened. You still have a the difference between a man and a woman. So you have this athletic man, like highly athletic. And I mean, if you put him and Nicole in a room together to beat each other up, I mean, you know the outcome for that.
Yeah,
So I know people don't like to hear it, because it sucks and it is kind of a double standard. But I mean, I think men have to control themselves more in
oh
that
for sure,
situation
for sure.
because yes, I know that women are abusive. I know that women can hurt. Um, but I think that men still overpower, and I think that
Oh,
men
most
still.
definitely.
So yes, so physically, I think that men need to handle themselves better in that situation, and emotionally, women need to handle themselves better in that situation.
Also,
So,
not to play devil's advocate, but women will toe the line, poke the bear to get that reaction
mhm,
out of a man.
yeah.
So that, like you said, men got to do a better job of controlling themselves in that regard. So, yeah,
And women need to stop acting like they can't get hurt.
yeah,
I like it's just it sucks and it sucks we live in that type of like society a little bit.
yeah.
Sorry, but
No,
both sides have to do a better job of maintaining those types of situation. If you know that you're in this like truly powerful, you know, marriage and you're in this relationship where it's very passionate and things get heated very easily,
yeah,
you got both sides need to know when to just stop.
yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure. Now, moving forward into the early 90s, this is when things started to get really, really bad between OJ and Nicole.
hmm
There were reports, and mind you, their kids were born. Um, they had a daughter and a son together, and this is when, as I said, it was reported OJ was emotionally, verbally, and physically, you know, abusing. I can't say the actual word, but he was doing bad things to Nicole, and
hmm
these were proved to be true due to diary entries on Nicole's behalf, saying he's scared he's gonna kill me, she's scared he's gonna kill me, he would beat me while they had sex, he would throw me in a closet, things like that. And it all started to come out. And it was a bad part in their relationship. And OJ does touch on it in his book, but he also spins it in a way that there were some instances where you have your skeptical hippo eyes like, okay, did that really happen? Or is he
hmm
just saying that? Or, yeah, I don't know if I believe that. Things
And
like
it
that.
and it sucks because it's only going to be from his perspective. We don't get to hear Nicole's perspective.
I mean, we kind of got to look at Nicole's perspective through the diaries, through the
Yeah.
photos of her with a black eye, photos of her with bruises on her face, bruises on her arms. So we got to hear her side, and this is when OJ's facade truly started to crack.
I even think that there was a report that in one night, Nicole called the police 15 times. I think it was reported it was 15 times.
I believe that,
And
and
I think that
yes,
was towards the
I'm
end of their
I'm
relationship.
glad you brought that up because this is when the 911 calls started coming out, and um, I played one at the beginning. Spoiler alert! But I played one at the beginning. I'm gonna play one at the beginning once this is all edited. But they are bone chilling.
Yeah.
They are scary. They, especially the one where OJ is heard in the background. Yeah, don't listen to those at nighttime because my skin crawled. I made that mistake. It was chilling, bone
God, you,
chilling.
you get so scared
Oh,
so
I get
easily. I
so
love
scared.
it so much.
I was like, let me just, yeah, I'm doing research. I'm like, let me just listen to the 911 calls on my way home. And I'm like, oh, this was a bad idea.
Oh my gosh. I do want to shout out somebody because I want people to know what I listen to when I go to sleep. So there is a YouTuber called Snook, Snook.
Okay.
And all he does is just read like Reddit threads and like 4chan threads and stuff like that.
Okay.
And they're mostly like terrifying and scary, and that's what I
Yeah.
listen to go to sleep. So
Shout
yay.
out to Snook. Shout out to Snook.
They're great. They're great. Don't listen
Yes.
to them. You'll be too scared though.
Oh,
So.
no. Definitely not.
All right,
But
let's go ahead. I want to talk about Ron
let's talk
because
about
I
Ron.
feel like Ron gets lost in this story.
He
Nobody really
really
pays
does.
attention to Ron. Ron Goldman, there's actually not a lot about him out there.
There's not.
He was young. He was 11 years younger, if I'm not mistaken, younger than Nicole.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 11. Or
11
no.
years.
No. Nicole was born in 59. He was born in 68, same year my dad was born.
Okay,
So he'd be 57,
that's
almost
crazy.
58. Yeah. So he was, that is 11. I can't count.
Yeah.
11. No, wait, 59, 64 is 5, plus another 4. That's 9. That's 9 years.
I love it. I
I can't
love
do
it.
math. I can't do math.
It's
I'm
all
not a
right. I
math
said 11
major.
because I wasn't even reading my own notes. Now, Ron was actually born in Chicago, Illinois. So these are two people that were not born in California, not born and raised in California. Nicole was from Germany, and then Ron was from Chicago, Illinois. He was actually an American, I said American waiter. He wasn't an American waiter. He was an American who was a waiter. He was actually an aspiring actor, but he was also an aspiring club owner. He wanted to do like promotions, a lot of stuff, a lot of people that move to California
Yeah.
and are in that type of like nightlife scene.
Yeah,
Love
his
it.
dad was interviewed in both the documentaries, the one on Netflix, Manhunt, The Search for O.J. Simpson,
Hmm.
another great watch. But he was interviewed for both of those, and he spoke glowingly of Ron, saying he was going to open his own restaurant. He
Yeah.
had the menus designed already. He already had the layout of the art of what was going to go in his restaurant. So he had his life rather figured out.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. So
And
props to him for that.
here's what I think, and I won't get too deep into it because I want to talk kind of the events leading up to this.
Okay.
I think he was a casualty. I think that this situation, this unaliving would have happened even without Ron
You do?
involved. I do.
Okay.
And just the events leading up to it, it was
Yeah.
literally wrong place, wrong time. I feel really bad for that family.
I feel truly bad for him too. I do. Him and Nicole didn't deserve what happened.
No.
I will say this though, and again, rest their souls. I do think they had a fling going. I do.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do. So let's get into what OJ calls in his own book, The
All
Night in
right.
Question. And before this little caveat, OJ was saying that before this night in question happened, him and Nicole were in this period of confusion to where they wanted to reconcile, they wanted to work things out, but they just couldn't. Nicole was trying to date somebody else, and OJ was trying to get in the way of that. Nicole's relationship with Keith Slomzowicz took a toll on OJ, even though OJ had a whole girlfriend on the side. So it really was a period of confusion to where, okay, are we in a relationship? And mind you, they were still kind of sleeping together. OJ and Nicole were. This was like April, May 1994. So it really was a period of confusion as to, all right, what are we doing? Are we in a relationship? The public thinks we are, but then inside, we're really not.
Hmm.
So it was a confusing time for OJ and Nicole during that time.
Yeah. And so Nicole, she was in an actual like relationship with somebody else?
Yeah, Keith Slomsowitz actually met in Colorado, of all places.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Um, they were dating, and there was a story in the documentary that OJ followed them from the club to Nicole's house, and this is when they were separated. Nicole was living like a few blocks down from OJ, or not even a few blocks, in a whole other neighborhood. And basically, OJ saw Nicole giving Keith head in the living room through the window. Yeah,
What?
not to be too graphic, but OJ was being a peeping Tom, knocked on the door, then came back the next day, confronted Nicole, and was going off on her about, you're still my wife, you're doing this with the kids here. He was really upset. And, Keith didn't hear this, but as OJ and Nicole were talking, you could tell it was hostile. And then when Nicole got out of the room, she broke the news to Keith. White as a ghost, OJ was watching us. He saw the sexual acts that were going on between us. So you could say at this time OJ was rather the jealous ex, the possessive ex
Oh,
at this
100%.
time.
I
At
mean,
this
if you're going to
time.
be peeping through her windows, I cannot believe that. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
no, that happened. That happened. And in this book, he was just trying to be like, hey, don't be doing that, you know, with my kids in the house, basically.
I mean, fair,
Fair,
fair.
but that was his cover as to why he was there in the first place. And then there were these other rumors that Nicole was hanging out with these ladies that did a lot of Coca-Cola, that were like, hookers, you know, typical LA chicks of the
Okay,
90s.
okay, you have to picture this though. So Nicole was 18 when she met and started dating OJ. Extremely young,
Yeah.
getting married and pregnant at an extremely younger age, not young,
Mm-hmm.
like illegal, younger.
Mm-hmm.
So she now wasn't in this tumultuous relationship anymore with somebody who was probably controlling her every single move. And now she's going out and living a life that maybe she thought she should have lived when she was in
Yeah.
20s.
People said that. People said that for sure. And that's not a bad argument.
Yeah.
It's
It-
not.
but at the
But
same time, if you're not married, you don't have any say over that. You're not with that
no,
person anymore.
the only thing I don't know is if they were truly divorced. I know in 90 from 93 to 94 was their last period of them truly being together
Yeah,
where
so they
they were
permanently, in my notes, it says they permanently called it quits in May 1994.
yes, because in 93 they had a little honeymoon getaway, Nicole and OJ did, and Nicole was just professing her love and how she missed this type of relationship,
Hmm.
the good days. And they made a little deal that no matter how hard it gets, how great it is, you're going to stick through this for one
Yeah.
year. And then all kinds of other stuff with like the house and the taxes, property taxes and whatnot. They were going back and forth about stuff like that. But basically, they were given it a year to truly work it out. And at the end of the year, if they both wanted to call it quits, they would have called it quits. And if they felt they should still be together, then they would have still been together. But obviously, other stuff happened during that year to where it led to them being separated permanently. One of them was Keith Zlomzowicz being in Nicole's life as the boyfriend at that time.
So I know this is going to sound really bad, and I really don't mean it to sound this way. Now, if there was any moment for him to do what he did on June 12th, wouldn't it be that moment when he's actually seeing his ex-wife or whatever in the act with somebody else? So that could probably be a defense of like this wasn't heat of the moment type of like passion killing because I've already seen her with other guys.
So, so you're saying it was premeditated based off of that?
No, I'm saying that like if there was ever so like in OJ's defense, I'm not defending him, I'm saying as a
Okay.
defender,
Okay.
saying, people are like, well, he was a jealous guy. He, unalived her because of like heat of the moment, passion killing type of thing. But then you can defend him and be like, well, no, I saw Nicole with another man, like with my own eyes and doing acts to each
Yeah.
other. So if it was heat of the moment type of killing, it would have happened then,
Yeah.
like as
I
like a
mean,
defense type of thing.
perhaps, but I just think the door was locked when all that was going down.
Yeah, okay.
Are,
Yeah.
are you gonna bust your way in and really make a noise out of it? No,
Yeah.
because and again, not to get too far ahead as we're about to read everything that happened now,
Yeah.
but it was like what happened on June 12th was like the perfect storm. It
Hmm.
was everybody in the same place, and whoever was there was gonna get it, no matter what.
Okay.
Like Keith could
Okay.
have been there, and he would have got. But since Keith wasn't there, it was Ron and Nicole. Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's who was gonna be going to meet God. You know,
Yeah.
that was an appointment they couldn't reschedule.
Yeah.
So let's get into Night in Confusion,
All
June 12th,
right.
1994.
Let's
Y'all
talk
ready
about
for
it.
this? Y'all
Guys,
ready
you see my notes on the screen. I'm going to
for
paraphrase.
those
I'm going to talk about a lot, a lot of
for
stuff.
the for those listening, just keep on. If you're listening to
Keep
this at
on.
work or driving to work, yeah,
No, there's a lot
just
of the reason there's a
here
lot of
we go.
detail in this is because when we get to the trial portion of this, which we're not going to deep dive into, a lot of people know what happens during the
I feel
trial.
like the only keynotes from the trial was Furman and the gloves. I feel like
Right.
nothing else was truly prevalent about that.
Yeah, right. And so we'll kind of cover that, but the timeline is a key factor in this. So
Yes, yes.
June 12th, 1994. So both Nicole and OJ, they both attended their daughter Sydney's dance recital. This was at Paul Revere Middle School. I'm thinking of dance recitals. I'm thinking probably it was somewhere in the afternoon, so probably around 4 to 6 p.m. It didn't specifically say what time this was.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, Brown, so Nicole and her family went to eat at Mezzaluna Restaurant, and that is where Ron Goldman worked as a waiter. He was working there. Now, he did not serve their table, but he was very familiar with Nicole. Nicole was very familiar with this restaurant. It was like a family affair. This was,
Hence to my theory as to that they were smashing.
I, I think so. Yes, I agree with you on that one. Now this the night in question though, Nicole. So if you can kind of think of it, so Nicole and OJ, they're already divorced. They both go to their daughter's recital. Nicole's with her family. OJ, I think, was by himself.
Yeah, he was by himself.
And so afterwards, OJ does whatever he needs to do, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then Nicole was with her family. So she was with mom, which is the parents,
Hmm.
grandparents. And so it was kind of, if you kind of picture of it, it's just a normal night. So picture of your child at a recital afterwards. Hey, let's go get a family meal. Everything's super normal, super kosher.
Yeah.
So they go to Mezzaluna. Now, they did go to Ben and Jerry's ice cream after Mezzaluna, so they did go to another stop before
Hmm.
returning to the condo, which was on Bundy Drive in Brentwood, California.
Hmm.
Now, the manager of Mezzaluna recounted that Nicole's mother called and said that a pair of sunglasses were left at the restaurant. The manager found them. I think it was really weird. The manager found the sunglasses in like the gutter outside.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking the
That's
mom,
weird.
Nicole, dropped them, but somehow they were important enough clients for the manager to run around and find these sunglasses. So that was at 9:37 p.m. So she was asking about a pair of lost sunglasses.
Yeah.
Manager found the sunglasses. So
And
here,
not to cut you off,
you're
but
good.
the timeline is really key for all
Mhm.
this. For all this. And if you watch the documentary, they do a good job of explaining the timeline.
Yeah,
And I've rewinded it millions of times, being like, okay, this happened at that time, this happened at that time. So it's key, but go ahead.
it's key. And now a lot of people think that, and we're going to get into it, that OJ got off because of certain circumstances. It had a lot to do with the butchering on the prosecution side too, and the timeline was a big, piece
Oh,
of
for
that.
sure. For sure.
So we'll talk about that in a second. So why are we talking about sunglasses? Because Ron was at the restaurant. He was the waiter. He said, "Hey, I know Nicole. I'll just drop the sunglasses off at her house after my shift. Not a big deal."
And
Manager,
maybe get a little something,
a little loving.
a little hoo ha. You know what
And
I mean? Like,
even if they weren't doing anything, I mean, Nicole is what this hot single mom, which is like I guess is like big thing for younger guys. Like, oh yeah, like
yeah,
he was.
I'd say more so now than back then, but
But if you think about it, like, okay, the ex-wife of OJ Simpson's actually like interested in me. I'm
yeah,
actually friends with her. Like, of course.
not for real. That's true. And if you look at what she's wearing a skimpy outfit.
Oh my
You
God.
know,
All right, let's talk about that really fast. OJ gets into
let's.
the fact that he gets into an argument with Nicole at the recital because Nicole was wearing a skin-tight black dress.
Hmm.
And OJ said that was inappropriate to be wearing, which I'm guessing turned into who the fuck cares what I think or what you think. Like this is what I'm wearing. I'm hot. Like I'm gonna wear this. So
Yeah,
that was an argument that they had. It's documented that they had at the
yeah,
recital.
yeah. They did, and they. Another theory was like that was the reason why OJ was never invited to Mezzaluna was because of that said argument.
Oh, so like if he was nice and good
If
at
he
the
if he was being
recital,
if he was being a good boy, yeah,
yeah.
he would have went to Mezzaluna with them, but he got his invitation revoked after that.
Oh my gosh. There's actually another piece to this that we're going to talk about this recital, which is pretty crazy to me, but we'll circle
Yeah,
back to that, okay?
yeah.
Um Now, so if you can kind of picture just the timeline of this, he got off, which is really weird. Ron got off at, I think it was like 9:57. I think it was like the exact time that he got off. He went
That's
back
weird.
to his apartment and this is actually documented that he spoke with his roommate. They were planning on going out clubbing that night. So he was
Hmm.
like, "Hey, I just got to go
Oh, I
make
didn't know that.
class." Yeah, so his roommate actually talked to him before he went over to Nicole's condo.
Okay.
Um, Now, this is kind of where the little timeline happens. So a lot happened within like 40 minutes is what
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so just picture Ron going to his apartment. He is now driving over to Nicole's house. I want to say if they lived within the same, maybe 15-20 minute drive, if for anybody who's driven around in Brentwood before.
Well,
And
it's in LA. It's a minute. In
yeah,
LA, there's always traffic.
there's
Always
always
traffic.
traffic,
Even
but
at 3 a.m. there's traffic.
yeah. But if you live close to the certain people that you surround yourself with, you can get to places within like 10,
Sure,
15
sure.
minutes if you live close enough. So
Yeah.
I don't know where his apartment was from her condo. Didn't find anything on that. But let's go and talk about what happened. So Nicole's neighbors testified that they heard profuse barking coming from outside throughout that night. So this was probably around 10:15.
Hmm.
Around 10:55, there was a dog walker that was walking somebody else's dog. Said that he lived a few blocks away from Nicole, that they came across Nicole's dog. So, and he was barking in the street outside of her home. The dog's legs were covered in blood.
Oof.
Like, I don't know what kind of dog it is. I think it says, but I didn't really do my research on what kind of dog. But if you're looking at maybe like the tallest dog leg is what this
I
big.
think it was a husky,
Okay, so the hair.
which are big dogs,
Yeah.
and they're mostly white. So yeah, blood will be easy to spot on them, or any color for that matter.
So my first thought, seeing a dog walking down the street covered in blood, I think the dog might be hurt. I don't think anything else other than, oh my gosh, what happened to the dog,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
So basically, the dog walker left that dog, so Nicole's dog, with a neighboring couple who offered to keep the dog overnight. Now, the dog started to get agitated with the couple, so the neighboring couple decided to
Yeah.
walk the dog because they knew whose dog it was
Yeah.
back over to where the dog was found to see if they could maybe find the owner. Maybe the owner was looking for him.
Hmm.
Now they stopped outside of Nicole's home, and the neighboring couple saw Nicole's body lying on the outside of the house. The police were called to the scene, and they also found Ron's, body near
Yeah.
Nicole's.
Yeah. Um,
Um, I did put a little 3D picture in there.
I'll read this part.
Okay.
Um, Front door to Brown's condominium was open when the bodies were found, but there were no signs that anyone had entered the building by breaking in or otherwise. Brown's body was lying face down and barefoot at the bottom of the stairs, as you can see in our picture here, leading to the door. The walkway leading to the stairs was covered in blood, but the soles of Brown's feet were clean. Based on this evidence, investigators concluded that she was the first person to be attacked and the intended target. She had been stabbed multiple times in the head and neck, and there were few defensive wounds on her hands, implying that a short struggle to investigators. The final wound inflicted ran deep into her neck, severing her carotid artery, a large bruise on the center of her upper back with the corresponding footprint on her clothing, indicating to investigators that after unaliving Goldman, the assailant returned to Brown. Yeah, went back and forth between them.
Hmm.
Her larynx could be seen through the gaping wound in her neck. You know how freaking how how do I want to say this?
What the anger that it takes to
The
sever somebody's
anger
head.
and how many. Yes, I think that's the part that knocks my freaking head in a tailspin. Is that her head was almost cut off. My
Like,
goodness.
like I don't want to sound like, mean or anything or like I'm not even trying to be funny, but like if you're gonna go that far, like just finish the job. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was barely on her body, her head.
oh. I mean, think about it. You're stabbing. I don't think when you're in a fit of rage like that and you're just going. I don't think you're thinking about cutting anybody's head off. I think you're just going and going and going. And I mean,
Now
if you do, you do.
yeah,
But
I think that they said during trial that what happened to her neck, so her neck being almost severed off from her body,
well,
happened after she already died. So the
it was
stabbing,
overkill. It was
yeah.
overkill.
So
So
this,
yeah,
and that's how you know. So again, tips 101, how to get away with murder. Um, what police classify as a fit of rage or a passion killing is when something is this close, when somebody is this angry at somebody. If
yeah,
somebody doesn't know you and you're being unalived for reasons of maybe like, somebody's trying to steal something from you or
yeah.
something like that, maybe trying to get money from you, they don't do something like that. So
Yeah.
people knew that this was an emotional backed killing or
Oh, for
unaliving.
sure. For sure. And they tried saying it was theories that because the circle that Nicole was hanging out with, that, you know, the Colombian drug lords got to her and tried giving her a Colombian necktie, meaning that they cut your throat open and pull your tongue down through your through your neck in which they cut.
Yikes.
So that was just a theory. That is
Yeah.
not true.
And
But again,
do you want to know something funny of why that theory wasn't upheld?
why?
Is because I think prosecution at some point was claiming that OJ was buying drugs off of a drug dealer and that
Mm.
he was possibly high on some type of drug when this happened.
Well, I thought the rumor was that Nicole and her friend Faye Resnick and Cora Fishman were the ones buying drugs, and because they weren't making payments or getting the drugs on time, that was ultimately what led to Nicole's demise.
Gosh, see, I didn't hear
So
that. So, again,
that's what I heard.
so
It was
many.
never proven. It was never really brought up, but it was a theory that was like, if you're a diehard OJ fan to where you
Mhm.
don't think he did this whatsoever, that is probably the theory you're running with.
Okay.
You
I
know?
mean, put it up against a jury and see what they think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I don't really know when Escobar was in his prime, quote unquote, but I doubt it was the '90s. But hey, drugs are
yeah.
drugs at the end of the day. So, but yeah, I want to get OJ's part of the story
hmm
before we go into where he was after the recital. I mean, I guess it is here. So, following the recital, Simpson ate takeout food from McDonald's with Kato Kalin, an actor and family friend who had been given the use of a guest house in Simpson's estate. In the book, OJ kind of dives into how Nicole was beefing with Kato, how even he was saying that Nicole got their kids to call Kato a freeloading bum, and OJ didn't like that. Certain things that
hmm
Nicole was being upset about and snappy about, that you're some things, like I said, a lot of what OJ says in the book are like, I wonder if that actually happened.
Right.
Or
Right.
I'm not sure. What Nicole was saying about Kato, I don't really think happened. The whole he's a freeloading bum, he's
hmm
this, he's that, he needs to pay rent on this day. I don't think Nicole said all that. I think that was just OJ probably projecting his dislikes to Kato in that
Yeah.
situation. So, but
Now, I know that he was a family friend, so maybe OJ felt a little bit of like it was necessary or like he was obligated to, take care of him.
probably,
So maybe he thought all that about him and he was just saying that Nicole said it.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, that's I think so too. So it's a little bit after, it's around 8 o'clock ish, and OJ and his girl Paula Barbieri were going through it.
hmm
Mind you, like I said before, OJ and Paula were just going through their stuff. Were they together? Were they not together? They were on again, off again. But that night, Paula truly ended it.
And she
And
ended it, and what I read is that she ended it because she wanted to go to his daughter's recital with him, and he said no because
yes,
Nicole was going
yes,
to be
yes, yes,
there.
yes, yes. That's Yep, that is true. That
So
is
of course you're gonna
good
oh
catch. I forgot about that.
like you're still majorly obsessed with your wife that you don't even want to bring your new girlfriend around.
Yeah, that's a reason to break up for sure.
100%.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, that's why OJ was unhinged and set off.
Yeah.
But according to OJ in the book, and keep in mind, per his words, this is hypothetical.
Okay.
OJ was in his yard chipping golf balls, and for the non golfers out there, he was just hitting them into the other yard because he had a gajillion dollars and his whole backyard was a giant golf course. So, yeah, he's going to chip some golf balls into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
A friend that he's met once or maybe twice comes by as he's sitting outside his own gate, just chilling, literally sitting on the floor outside his gate. He even said he fell asleep for a little bit. A friend that he's met once, maybe twice, drives up. OJ said he didn't recognize him at first, but at the same time, as he walked closer to him, he recognized who he was, and it was a feller named Charlie, who he's met at some other events, business meetings, and whatnot. So he asked, "What's Charlie doing in the neighborhood?" And Charlie's like, "I've heard some really bad things about Nicole, man. Nicole is just doing drugs and having orgies, crazy things, disparaging things." And in the book, this is what set OJ off to a possible crime of passion. He got in the car, had Charlie come with him, and they drove to Nicole's house. And there, Charlie and OJ are bickering back and forth about what's going on. Charlie's trying to calm him down. OJ was going off about how he was sick of Nicole trying to get dating advice from OJ if Nicole was going to be with guys just to sleep with guys or actually be with guys, projecting all, like airing out all his dirty laundry to Charlie. So they get to the house and they go in through the back. As they
Hmm.
get to the back, that same time, supposedly, OJ doesn't say who, he just says another man. Well, I think it was Ron. Ron comes in through the front,
Okay.
and the front door is wide open. So Ron comes through the gate. Nicole's front door in the house is wide open, and OJ confronts him like, "What are you doing here?" I'm trying to get to the point, so I'm not leaving anything out. OJ was like, "Is this for you?" And Ron seemed taken aback as to what OJ was being upset about. OJ was like, "There's candles and music playing. Are you sure this ain't for you?" And Ron was basically saying, "Nah, man, this is not for me. Like, I'm just here to drop off these glasses, Judy's glasses." And OJ's like, "Oh, it's Judy now. How are you on a first name basis with Judy,
Yeah.
Nicole's mom?" A few moments later, Nicole comes out of the house. So does the dog. And it's so freaking crazy how the whole premise of this case is based off a dog.
Yeah.
The dog walks up to OJ, wags his tail, and for those dog owners out there, if a dog is comfortable, they're gonna wag their tail and be, that's a way of them signifying they're comfortable with the company that's around.
Hmm.
It goes to OJ, wags his tail, and it goes to Ron. The dog wags its tail,
Oh
and
my
that right
gosh.
there set OJ off. And Nicole's like, "Oh, OJ, you just need to leave. I'm single, blah blah blah." And then things get a little physical between OJ and Nicole, so much so to the point where Ron feels the need to interject. And
Mm-hmm.
Ron gets in, a fighting stance. And OJ was really ticked off at that point, fuming. Charlie, who's just an innocent bystander in all this, is trying to, keep the peace, telling OJ, let's go, let's go. But OJ's like, no, this motherfucker wants to fight. We're going to fight. And per the book, at that time, OJ did not know what happened.
What, like he got amnesia at
He said essentially he said he blacked out.
God, that is the excuse of like
He's
everybody that
he said he doesn't remember what happened other than that he felt blood on his shirt. And he asked himself the first thing, where did this blood come from? Is it my blood? I saw Nicole's body. She's hurt, but I'm not going to go over there and help her.
Hmm.
So they're dumb. Charlie and OJ are dumbfounded. Basically, yeah. He. I know. I kind of strayed away from the notes, but
No, that's actually interesting because that contradicts some of the actions that he took afterwards, though. So this is what, again, wanting to get away with murder 101. If you go into a blackout, okay, and you,
that
because
that
some
that
people
means they
do
did it, right?
that. Yes, yes. But if you go into a blackout, and if that is your defense that you blacked out, like, hey, I may have done this, I don't know how because I don't remember. But then you take steps afterward to clean up or to take some pieces of evidence away from the scene so it doesn't lead back to you. Like at what point did you come back or did you come to?
So they left. Charlie, who basically witnessed all this, was like, "What did you do, OJ? What did you do?" They left, and OJ was trying to tell him what to do. Charlie was very shaken about what happened, and OJ was just like, "You need to get rid of my clothes. You need to get rid of this. You need to get rid of that. You need to move my car because I'm going to park it right here because I'm waiting for the limo driver." And supposedly Charlie did all this, only to find out there was never a Charlie.
Oh God.
There was never a Charlie. So, in my honest opinion, I think Charlie was an alias or like a second personality for OJ.
Do you think that he was that messed up in the head? Just, but like, where did he ever come? Did Charlie ever come about at any other
No,
time besides
no.
when you were unaliving your ex-wife?
He said one time when he drove up, he's like, I've recognized this guy and I've only met him like two, three times before that.
Uh,
So he wasn't a close friend. So I think OJ just made him up. I do.
he was like a, what do they call it, an enigma or something like that?
An enigma, a person in a story that makes it seem okay to quote unquote soften the blow of what truly happened, you know?
Yeah, but if
Uh,
this is the case and this is okay, where was Charlie before the book was written then? If this
he
was your defense,
he never existed
no, I
though.
know, but if this is your defense, why not insanity plea then?
I mean,
Because because OJ was his
I
he was
don't think
so egotistical that even that outcome of being labeled as an insane person is he didn't want that either. So again, even if that was true,
so. I don't think OJ brought up the character Charlie until the book was being written. Because mind you, he never testified. He was never cross-examined.
right.
So I don't think once this book idea came about and OJ was trying to replay of okay, how can I tell the truth about what happened that night without telling the truth? And he was probably just sitting there playing with everything, every possible scenario, every possible situation that he could, and he just
Hmm.
stumbled upon, well, let me put this guy in to give me a quote unquote reason to go over there, because he came by saying all this crazy stuff about Nicole.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion, because again, no Charlie was ever questioned by police. No Charlie was ever on stand for testifying. Nothing. It was like
Yeah.
he was just this made up person in OJ's head.
Yeah, that's why
Or like I
I
said,
can't
if
read that book. It's the anger. I call BS 100%. Like, no, I don't believe
what do
it
you
at
call BS
all.
on?
Okay, so the prosecution, and we don't have to get too deep into it. He was catching a flight to, I think it was Chicago.
Yes.
So from LAX to Chicago, his flight left at 11:45. It was a red-eye flight to Chicago. He was actually going to be at this event that the Hertz company was, or the Hertz organization was funding.
Yes.
And so he had to be on this flight. So he had this amount of time to get there. He grabbed pieces from the scene of the crime and put them in this like knapsack.
Yes, yes, he did. He did, and this is in the Manhunt documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Somebody at the airport saw him throw something in the trash that was
Hmm.
supposedly the murder weapon
Hmm.
because the knife box in OJ's house, there was no knife in there.
Hmm.
And that person that saw OJ throw the knife away in the trash was never called to court to testify.
So in this elusive Charlie narrative, you're now, so wouldn't that be the first thing that you tell Charlie to get rid of? Hey, you need to get rid of my clothes. You need to get rid of my shoe. Like we need to move my car.
Yeah,
But Charlie, if you're this made up enigma that you have in your head, that would be the first thing that you would say, hey, we need to get rid of this. Instead, you picked up the knife. You had the wherewithal. You had the realization, hey, I need to get rid of this. Charlie is not r real, and he knows that. He knows that.
yeah,
So so it completely messes up his story that he's writing in the book 30 years later. It
yeah,
doesn't make any sense because he's the one who, after this crime, decided to clean up after himself. So if he had somebody that he thought he was giving him his stuff to and then figured out, oh my gosh, he wasn't real, you knew that
yeah,
because you already picked that piece of evidence up from the scene of the crime.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. And also, it's interesting that so many things were fumbled. How the piece of blood recovered in OJ's home was not taken in for testing. How certain things in OJ's home were not tested for DNA,
Hmm.
which makes it okay, yeah. If people knew back then, what we know now,
Hmm.
it's almost like he was made to get off from the beginning, you
Yeah.
know, with all the evidence that wasn't picked up, with all the evidence that wasn't presented, witnesses that weren't called. It's almost like the prosecution was freaking doing this for the wrong reasons.
Oh, the prosecution was so dumb. Again, you know, let's go ahead and talk about that really fast.
Yeah.
So during this time, you're talking about the early 90s, Rodney King, racial riots, everything was happening in Los Angeles, and then this happens, okay? And everybody was like, the jury found him not guilty based off of because the LAPD planted all this evidence. Okay, yes, that did happen, and there was actually an officer included in the scene of the crime that had previous I think what was it, previous notches on his record where he did plant
Yeah.
stuff like that and he was a known racist. Like there was a lot of stuff that was happening. But specifically with OJ, this did not happen with OJ. Actually, I think the opposite happened with OJ. People were like, "Oh my God, this big name guy, like he got so many handouts during this whole
Yeah.
thing that had nothing to do with his race
Yeah.
that he was, I think it was on June 17th, I think is when he was actually taken in, or he was actually, it was the charges were filed, but
Yeah.
he had to make basically have his perp walk. I think he was at Rob
Mm.
Kardashian's house.
Yeah. 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 He was. He
And
was.
and LAPD said, okay, yeah, he can have until noon. And because it was filed at 9 a.m. Oh, he can have till noon. He actually got special treatment. This
He
guy was
did.
not treated racially poorly at
No,
all.
not at all. Not at all. And the documentary touches on that tremendously, saying this was not LAPD police behavior. Had OJ been black and not OJ, they would have came and got him that very night,
That
reg-
night.
regardless if he was in Chicago or not.
Yeah. He probably would have been arrested in Chicago at his hotel if it wasn't OJ.
But that was also, to your point, the reason for the Bronco chase. And look, OJ inspired me to get a white Bronco. So, well, what a car. That's all I'll say.
Ugh, I've
So,
always wanted a Bronco, but
oh,
not a white Bronco.
they're such sexy beasts, especially in white. My goodness. But my point is, he's obviously gonna say he's not guilty, but this was not the right way to prove that you're not guilty.
Oh no, this is basically saying I'm guilty.
Yes, his biggest fans thought that. So, and what's even more interesting, OJ's close friend Al Cowlings, a former USC Trojans and Buffalo Bill football player, snuck OJ in his home in his own white Bronco. They had the same car. I don't think
They had the
people know
same
that.
car.
They had the exact same car. You know how
Everybody
much?
thinks it was his white
Yeah.
Bronco where they
When
found DNA of Ron Goldman in, by the way. Why
yeah,
would Ron Goldman DNA be in your white Bronco except
exactly,
for that night? This was
exactly.
Al Cowling's white Bronco.
Al was such a big OJ dick rider. He had the same car as him. He was, and yeah, they already had OJ's real Bronco impounded for
Yeah,
evidence.
yeah.
So I think that mind fucked a lot of people. So at 5:51, Simpson reportedly called 911. The call was traced to the Santa Ana Freeway at around 6:20. A motorist in Orange County notified California Highway Patrol heading north. The police tracked calls placed by Simpson on his cell phone, which back then, if you don't know, cars have cell phones inside of them,
Yes, they did.
which I think is an absolute gangster.
Hell yeah.
So,
Came in a little
um,
bag, by the way.
yeah. Highway Patrol was seeing a white Bronco on the I-5 freeway heading north. The police tracked calls placed by Simpson in his cell phone. At 6:45, police officer Ruth Dixon saw the Bronco heading north. When she caught up to it, Cowlings yelled out that Simpson was in the back of the seat of the vehicle and was pointing a gun at his own head. The officer backed off but followed the vehicle at 35 miles per hour. So this wasn't no high-speed chase. This was a motorcade, basically. Around 35 miles per hour with up to 20 police cars following her in the chase. KCBS TV was the first to find Simpson from a news helicopter after colleagues heard that the FBI's mobile phone tracking had located Simpson. More than 9 news helicopters eventually joined the pursuit. Knowing that Cowlings was listening to KNXAM sports announcer Pete Agrobast called Simpson's former USC football coach John McKay and connected him to Simpson. As both men wept, Simpson told McKay, "Okay, coach, I won't do anything stupid, I promise." Off the air, OJ finally surrendered at his Brentwood estate around 8:47 p.m. when it was pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, that is signs of a guilty man.
Yeah,
But
that's an innocent man right there. Him and Charlie, man, just on the
for
way.
sure. But I think this was watched by 95 million people.
Oh, this was being watched in China and there was another country that was airing it too. It was
I think
China and another
France.
country.
I think France.
France and China. Yeah.
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 NBA Finals game was happening. They put the finals game in a tiny little box in the corner and gave OJ the giant treatment.
So yeah, you want to talk about special treatment?
But that's how famous he is. This man was a rock star even 27, 28 years after he retired.
And people do know the effect that this had on pop culture.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can see that picture of the Bronco being chased by all the police, and people know immediately what that is around the world. This is not just an American thing. Everybody knows what that day was. Absolutely.
I mean, I think Arnold Palmer was golfing his final few holes. There was other sporting events happening that were just interrupted by this unprecedented, unreal event that was not even planned.
And and what boggles my mind is that this happened. This was real life. Like this actually was something that happened. And it's wild.
I wasn't even a thought in my parents' plans when this happened. And I'm jealous of those that got to be there to watch it, because I was like, I would do anything just to live in that day, my age that I am now, to live in that moment. I
wish that I could tell you. I truly wish that I could give that to you, that I say that I remember. I have no recollection of that.
I'm friends with a lot of older people. I talk to them. I'm like, hey, random question. Where were you during the OJ car chase? Like, what were you doing?
I need to know this.
I asked my parents all the time, and they said we were watching it here. Your grandpa was watching it in the other room. We were just watching with bated breath, and I'm just like, holy
Yeah.
shit!
I think that some
It,
people
it
still have it recorded on like some
oh,
VHS
I'm
tapes of it
sure.
live.
I am
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think lately in the year 2026, there's been a lot of is this real life type of moments, like
Hmm.
so crazy, like does life even make sense? I feel like
Hmm.
this was the first one or
Yeah.
one of them where it's like this has got to be it.
Hmm.
What is life right now?
It
So,
changed the course, especially even after the trial and him not being found or him being found not guilty. Um, I can't like people were in the streets celebrating that he
oh,
was not found guilty.
like their team just won the Super Bowl
It was
or the
insane.
finals or the World Series. Like, yeah, people were celebrating, and then you had some people just like jaws on the floor, like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Do you know
And
what I
I,
read? I read that it was for his defense for a trial, it was roughly around $6.5 million
oh
for
yeah,
his
with
lawyers to be paid. Guess how much it
and
cost the taxpayers
ooh,
for prosecution?
I didn't even think about that. But how much?
$9 million to prosecute O.J. Simpson, and they lost. And they lost.
In today's money, that's probably about 11 million.
Oh yeah, that's up there. That is, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness! But
Now I do.
like I said earlier, they did it to themselves.
Oh
They
my God.
really did.
They
They
butchered
really
they
did.
butchered timeline. There were key pieces of timeline information that was missing. A lot of there were I think there were people that came forward and said, no, what happened around this time? That's then they didn't have those people testify. And I know that for the trial portion, because that's the stuff that I find interesting is the
Yeah.
trial portion. He had a lawyer, Robert Shapiro, who was one of the biggest
Yes.
lawyers at the time. And then Robert Shapiro stepped down as the lead lawyer and let Johnny Cochran
Yes.
take over the case because
Yes.
Johnny Cochran turned it into
A race thing.
a race thing. Okay, let's talk about that really fast.
Let's.
I'm sorry, it was going to happen. I think I told you this off air. Either OJ was going to be not found guilty, even though everybody knows he did it, or it was going to be somebody else. Because at this time, the LAPD and the race wars, what they were doing to innocent African American men and women was disgusting.
It
And it was
was.
caught, Rodney King, I mean, this stuff was caught on camera. You cannot fight that. So,
You can make the argument that was the first ever video to go viral.
yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
honestly. And you're talking about, and you're not just talking about something where it's just like, oh, like it's not that big of a deal. This was a huge deal.
it
And
was.
they need to be held accountable for that.
And they got all four of them not guilty.
Yeah.
And
And
that's why the LA riots happened. And
so here's what happens when injustice happens like that. Injustice also happens with
so
this.
you're saying it was like a karmaic, I don't know if that's a real word, a karmaic express in a karmaic way, a full circle type of that
Hmm.
was payback for Rodney King.
100%. So the people who were celebrating, you could probably go up to those people and be like, "Hey, OJ did it, right?" And those people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, but fuck LAPD,
No,
fuck those guys."
they talked about that in the documentary. You know, the build up to all right, is he guilty? Is he not guilty?
Hmm.
And the people celebrating, many people were like, that was payback for Rodney King. It
Hmm.
wasn't so much that it was OJ got off for murder. It was just like, wow, a black man finally. The justice system ruled in favor of a black man for once.
Hmm.
That's what their entire point of celebrating was. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the majority of them knew OJ did it.
Hmm.
Hell, I'm a fan of him, and I know he did it.
And you know what sucks about that though is that you know what everybody can sit here and talk about, oh, well, he should have been found guilty. Okay, well, he wasn't. And now you have to lay two people to rest. Now their families have to lay two people to rest that have no justice at all because of the shit that you guys had to do
But
that
I
had nothing to
think
do with this.
Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark, I don't, why I said her name like that. Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark, who were part of the prosecution, it was their idea for OJ to try on the gloves
Mm-hmm.
that have been left in evidence for more than a year.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? When
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure a toddler couldn't put those gloves on.
the trial the trial was 14 months after their
He
murders.
he was in jail June 1994.
Mm-hmm.
His acquittal happened October 3rd, 1995.
God, that's so crazy.
Insane.
Which again, it's
Insane.
gonna take that long. Now, I mean, during trial, like a lot of, I mean, you did hear, I think the lead investigator on the case, wasn't it that recordings came out of him saying the N-word and stuff like that?
Mark Furman. Yeah,
Mark Furman.
so to your point of why am I drawing a blank on the lawyer's name? Johnny Cochran.
Johnny,
Yes,
yeah.
Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran said, "We played the race card from the bottom of the deck," meaning he
Mm,
said this was going to be our only chance at getting an acquittal.
yeah.
And they played it correctly because Mark Furman, who, according to other cops, was not a racist cop, he made it sound like he was because this screenwriter was wanting to make a movie about the LAPD and racist cops, and she got some sound bites from Mark Furman acting, saying "I hate
Oh,
N words" with the
shit.
hard ER, you know, any N word. The only good N word is a dead N word. But of course, it
Uh,
wasn't like this is for a movie Injustice in LA. No, it was just a straight up recordings, and that was it. So
oh my
that right
God.
there is what lost them the case.
Oh my God. So when they presented that evidence to the jury, or it wasn't even evidence, when they presented that to the jury, did they
Oh,
say
they
that
weren't
this
even
was
going to
from
let
a
the
recording?
tapes. So yeah, they knew it. They weren't even going to release. They released like I think 2 lines of Furman saying the N word because
Oh
F.
my
Lee Bailey
God.
cross-examined Mark Furman, and he had a feeling that all right, Furman looks like a racist. He basically judged him during the cross-examination. So
Mm.
he's like, I'm gonna put something in my back pocket for later, basically being like, all right, this guy's a racist, but he's not going to prove it today. He's going to prove it. He's going to prove it later on in the trial. So he asked him on cross examination, "Did you ever say the N word?" Mark, of course, said no. Then those tapes got out, and then it made Furman
Oh my
lie,
God.
perjury. So people wanted to say, "Oh well, OJ." Yes, OJ paid a lot for his lawyers. You know,
Yeah.
Robert Kardashian, rest in peace. But the defense really, really lost him for this.
You know
The
that
prosecution, excuse me,
Chris
really lost it for this.
Chris, right? The mom of the Kardashian girls?
Yeah, well, Jenner, Chris Jenner, yeah.
Kris Jenner, that's right. Okay, Kris Jenner. She came out and said, I do not keep up with the Kardashians, if you can't tell. Um, Chris, the mom, said that she thinks that the OJ case is what killed her late husband,
I
Rob
think so.
Kardashian, because
I,
they were all very close friends and everybody was
yeah,
really close friends with Nicole.
they met OJ when OJ was still playing ball. So
Jeez.
it wasn't like OJ was looking for lawyers and stumbled upon Rob Kardashian. No, they were friends.
They were friends, but
They
they
were
were,
close friends.
but Nicole was friends with them as well, like even
Yeah,
after the
with
divorce.
with Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they got close. So it'd be interesting to hear her thoughts on all this. And
Who, the Kardashians?
just Chris mainly. I like the the girls were kids when this was all going on.
I was gonna say, I don't care what any of them have
Yeah,
to say
no,
about
I don't
anything.
about this. I don't care what they have to say. I want to hear what she has to say because she was in the thick of it. You know what I mean?
I would like to hear that. I wish that we heard Rob's side of it. I think that would have been cool to hear Rob's side of it.
Yeah. So another thing, one more thing I want to touch on is like, yes, OJ proved that he was an abuser,
Hmm.
and can that lead to death in other cases, not just this? Sure, but I don't think that the prosecution did a good job of proving that.
Not at all.
So,
Not at all. They fumbled a lot. Again, we can maybe go into that at another time. That's not really the key moments of this story.
no.
Because that deals with a lot of what does it take type of thing to put that nail in the coffin. Um, they really underestimated the racial aspect of it. And I think that
Yeah.
they were way too cocky. And I think that they should have realized the environment just culturally that they were in, and they really fumbled. Really,
Yeah.
really fumbled.
Yeah, it's that old sports saying, no time and score. Like
Yeah.
if you're winning, like we talked about with the Broncos, you know, no time and score. Albeit it was 2 years removed since Rodney King. 2 years is not that long ago,
No.
you know. So LA's probably just got rebuilt, you
Yeah.
know. So the fact that you think that that's done and over with and people are gonna forgive and forget, no, you're
No.
wrong. You're
But
wrong.
people still look down on the LAPD for
Yeah,
for those atrocious things that they did, as they should,
yeah.
as they should.
Now there was a theory I heard that his son did it because his son was not all there himself. I'm not too sure. That I think that was probably just some random TikToker
Who, OJ's son?
trying. Yeah, OJ's son, his older son Jason.
Really? I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, it was a theory I heard that his son was on meds, not for schizophrenia, but for some other sort of
Wait, OJ
mental
didn't say
disease.
that though.
No, OJ never said this. This is
Okay.
somebody else, and
Okay.
this was like a few years ago.
I was like, I mean, I know
But people,
OJ's a piece of shit, but I don't think he'd ever throw his son under the
oh
bus.
no,
Okay.
no, no, no. This was by a random TikToker. I think just theorizing that all right, if it wasn't OJ, well maybe it could have been his son. And
Mm-hmm.
because, the only other person who knew where Nicole lived was OJ's older son,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of fits the narrative, but obviously those were debunked.
I
And
haven't heard any other theories. I actually didn't even hear the theory about the drugs. I really thought that that was,
yeah, no, that was brought up in OJ's book. Not so much the documentaries, but more
yeah.
so of like she was involved, but it wasn't to the extent
Mm-hmm.
of her getting her life taken by drug kingpins.
Okay.
But she was running with that circle of, you know, strippers and cocaine type circle.
Was she though?
That's the consensus belief
Huh.
by Faye Resnick, by who's it, Cora Fishman. Like
Okay.
she was just around. She wasn't like the provider. She wasn't like the getter. She
Yeah.
was she was just around.
See, what that shows me is just like this freedom after being controlled for so long,
For
honestly.
sure.
Just going out there trying to now
For
make as
sure.
many memories as you possibly can while you're still young. Yeah.
And I guess the part that's been mind fucking me through this whole story. How old was she again when she died? She was born in 59, died in 94.
Oh, that's a good, hold on. I think I have that in our notes.
What was it?
Because she was born in what, May 1959?
59, 94. That's what, almost 35? She was
I think
35?
35, yeah.
Yeah, that's
35.
that's 35, right?
Dang, she was younger than
Oh,
me. That's
oh,
wild.
that
Like
is
so much
bananas.
life.
So much. Like you said, 30 years later, she could be a grandma just enjoying life.
It's so sad. And that's what I want people to remember about this. Yeah, OJ was arrested for other things. He had the Las Vegas thing that happened, and
That's another story for a different day, but that
that
story was
that's
that
literally a whole other 2 hours. Like that is
it,
so crazy.
I'll defend OJ on that though. That's the only thing I really he unalived Ron and Nicole, but
Yeah.
that I'll be like, okay, he's just getting his stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
in a
he's just
very weird
in a
way.
very way that breaks the law. He's just getting his stuff.
True. A
It,
little bit
it,
of like vigilante justice type of thing going
yeah,
on. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because in Nevada, and I'm pretty sure everywhere, if you say nobody leaves this room, that is a form of kidnapping.
That's true.
So I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, guys, don't say that. Don't say that when you're in a
So I'm
room.
like, okay, had he not said that, maybe he could have got off for that, you know.
It was kidnapping. I forgot
But
about that.
here's another. I'll end on this. Another crazy thing in this wild story. The Goldmans won the civil suit, so he was found guilty in the
That's
civil suit.
right. Yeah.
But OJ never paid them.
What?
Yes,
Did they get paid from his estate when he passed away?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
And he was still getting money from the NFL. His pension was still coming in during that
Ugh,
time.
the anger I feel for the Goldmans.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
another
God.
wacky thing to where they think they're going to get $33.5 million
How did
only
they
to
win in a
get
civil suit?
zip. Basically, they just found him guilty. All the evidence that
Wow.
was presented from the actual true court case, from a different jury, from a different judge, in a different district, I think it was Santa Monica, not downtown LA,
Hmm.
they found him guilty straight up. They're like, his blood was found in the Bronco. His blood was at the crime scene. The shoes that he was wearing commentating football, he was wearing at the crime scene. He
Hmm.
did it. They used all the evidence that was presented to us back then and just said, hey, he's guilty. Plain and simple.
Ugh, the anger for those people. Well, then, I know that they didn't get, you know, the financial aspect of that. But he was found guilty somewhere.
Yeah, just not in
So,
the way that truly provided justice. And like I said, he was found guilty, but like he honestly should have probably gone to jail for that. But I know by
mhm.
law you can't, you know.
Yeah.
But just for still hanging on to the money,
God,
that's wild,
that man has the
wild.
wildest story in the whole world.
And not to mention, he lost a daughter that drowned in
Yeah.
his pool.
God. Just
No,
tragedy at every turn. It's insane.
yeah, it really is. And
Well, if anybody wants to know my opinion, if I was on that jury, guilty.
eh, yeah, for as much as I like him as a football player and as an icon, he did it. He
And
did
that's
it.
also
It's
another
just
story. I couldn't even imagine what's the word for it in for the jurors, like the pressure that would have been
oh,
on them.
I mean, I know in the '90s there was no social media, there was no internet really.
Yeah, but you
Like,
can literally like probably say that this was one of the biggest cases of all time.
oh, for sure,
And if you would have
for
found him
sure.
guilty, there would probably been death threats. There probably would have been people coming after you if they ever found.
Well,
I
there was
mean,
there were still death threats because he was found not guilty.
oh my God.
One of the jurors said a woman that used to be her friend never spoke to her after that.
Good God.
Yeah.
I pray I never get. I kind of want to be on a high profile jury though, so I can't say that.
Hey, if Ja Morant, the NBA player that flashes pew pews around, he does some shit, raise your hand, be like, sign me up,
Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. I would love to be on a high profile jury. Oh, that'd be
But
awesome.
all in all, it ruined it ruined many people's lives.
Hmm.
Not just Nicole's family and Ron's family, but it ruined
Yeah.
the lawyers' lives, the policemen's lives, the jurors' lives.
Hmm.
So many people involved that to this day they probably can't live with themselves because of how they handled certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine the pressure of that either. It's just, I mean, that's the reason why it's such a popular story and it's such a pop culture story is because you can never in a million years imagine that being your life. Like, you just can't.
And
Like,
again, yeah, no, you're right. And I think why this case is so famous is because it dealt with one of the most famous people of all time.
hmm.
And when you think of football players and murder, there's only two people you think of. Think
Yeah,
of
yeah.
think of the Juice, and you think of Aaron Hernandez. That's
Ah,
it.
good old Aaron. We're gonna have to do a video on him. Gonna have to do that. Talk about a crazy story. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that is another that's another 2 hour show for sure.
Oh yeah. I think we're already at 2 hours right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys,
I think we
super.
covered. I think we covered everything. What do you think? You have anything else you want to add?
No, I want everybody to go watch that documentary that you were talking about and even read the book. I'm gonna have to read the book.
Yes, read the book. I've read it 3 times. Each
Uh,
time it's so compelling. Even the prologue of getting the book together and off the
mhm.
ground, how it almost never happened, was truly interesting. And
Oh,
again, there's some things they even talk about the 911 calls. That's in the book. Like
oh yeah.
the whole dialogue is in the book. OJ's conversation with the cops when he was first taken into custody,
Hmm.
that's in the book. So
Yeah, I think it's very important because we actually didn't even hit on probably about an hour's worth of the evidence portion, of how insane the evidence found was. Like what
found
it's insane. And
well, I
and
think that's why people were so shocked
yeah.
when he was acquitted, because the mountain of evidence that was against him led to all signs of him being guilty.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. So everybody, please go watch. There's also a show. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was on. It was basically a reenactment of the whole OJ story.
oh, with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I didn't really like that
Why?
because I talked too much about the trial, and I
I
didn't.
know. That's my favorite
I know
part.
you like that, but I like what happened on June 12th, 1994. I did like how they touched on the Bronco chase. I thought that was good, and
Yeah.
David Schwimmer did amazing in his role of
Oh,
Robert Kardashian.
yeah. Although
Every time
too tall.
too
Robert was
tall,
super short.
too tall, but he still did great. I every time he talks, all I hear is Melman from Madagascar. So,
What's
but
up,
it's
David
just
Schwimmer?
yeah, shout out to him.
And
I I just felt they could have. What I want for Hollywood's sake is for them to make a movie about OJ and Nicole and the murder that happened that night.
ooh, I'd watch that.
Yeah, like
Like a Lifetime movie type of
a
feel.
lifetime movie of how they met, their relationship, the highs, the lows,
Yeah.
and then what happened that night.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's a good
they
one.
they need to make that movie.
Ah, that's a
You
good one.
know,
I
and
like
then
that.
so
Yeah. I don't know. I just guilty. Here you
I
go.
do.
My
That's
ending
my.
remarks.
I think he's guilty as well. Even though I rock with him as a ball player,
Yeah.
he was guilty. He was, but
Yep.
the prosecution fumbled so many things.
So bad.
Pun intended. So
I love it.
we'll end on that. If you guys like this video, please be sure to comment down below. If you want us to cover more topics like this, please let us know. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And most of all, stay safe, stay healthy. Happy Super Bowl. Take care of yourself. Anything else to say, Mrs. Alley?
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Win or lose, we booze.
We booze.
And that's all right.
Peace.